Hello everyone. Now that we are done with removing the columns which were not required or not very much important because of the missing values or because of their loose relation with the target variable, right? So we are done with that particular stuff and we are left with only 43 columns. Now next thing which we will be doing is we will be jumping in feature engineering, and the first topic is gonna be missing imputation. So in that we will just see what all are the columns which are missing value where we need to impute the missing values. Okay, before we proceed further, let's just come back to this list, and here I have highlighted all those columns which we deleted. All right, so these were something which were deleted. After that, score was also deleted. I'm just trying to keep a reference of all the things which are happening over here so that it will be useful for us, now this is done. Then exit score 2 was external score 2 was also, sorry, external source 2 was also removed. We had removed that. Then we had removed these flag columns. All right, now let's see what else that we removed. Flag on reality is something which we also had removed. Okay, let me just see what all are the flag columns. So these are all the flag columns which we had removed. These were somewhere 28. All right, so these all columns were removed. Now let's just see how many we are left with over here. Are this 43? Yes, exactly, this is the number we are left with. We are left with 43 columns. All right, so here we have the reference of all the columns. Let's just jump back over here, and after removing all the required variables, let's try to have a look once again. So now this is our latest data which we will be using throughout this. Okay, so app score call removed. Let's again see the number of missing values. What is the status now, right? So for that, what we're gonna do is again same thing, and I'll say sort values, and let's just run this. So here again we are getting the absolute number over here. These are the columns which we are left with. Now we're gonna treat the missing values in these columns. Let's see how we're gonna do that. Okay, so let's try to convert this into percentage, and you already know how to do that. So we will just, we are just going to divide it with the total number of records which we have in the data frame, which is going to look like this. Now after dividing, this is the percentage which we get. All right, so here starting from here we have the missing values. So if you see day last phone change, that has 0.0003. so let me just show you. Here I have the reference. Here we have just one missing value, so we can live with that. Let's forget about that day last first change, and we will hardly be using this particular column in our analysis. Now coming to this count family members, so let's just try to see this one. Okay, I will just come into this segment, and here I'm just going to use the table name first of all. So table name is app score column removed dot, the column which we're gonna look into is this count family member. I'm just trying to see what all are the values that we have inside it. Okay, so here I will just say group by, and let's just say this, and size is something which will give you the count over here. Okay, so here it's the numeric value that we have over here. So most of the families have just one member, no, two member into that. So let's try to find the mode of it. What is the mode? Okay, so I will just use app score dot, we're gonna find mode of it. So what is the mode that we're gonna get over here? All right, so I just made a mistake here. I just need to put the column name as well, otherwise it will work on the whole column. So here we are getting 2. So let's just fill the missing with this particular information. All right, so how can you do that? So this column, this is the column which we want to fill, and I will say this here I will just say this dot fill na. It's taking some time to load. Let it load completely, or let me just start with this fill na. Okay, now in this we're gonna see the parameters. What all are the parameters that it accepts? So here it's gonna take the value. What is the value that we want to use to fill the missings, right? So that's something which we're gonna use mode, but that will be used on this particular variable. So this variable dot mode. All right, and then after here we're gonna say access equals to 1. Let me just remove this. What do you think? Is this going to work? Let me just try. Okay, here is some error. It says no access named 1 for object type. All right, let me just see what is the problem over here. It says access is not required. Let's just see. It is done. And now if I see over here, I'll just say group by, and over here size. Let's just see what is it that we are getting. Okay, so here we won't be able to know what exactly is happening. So what we're gonna do is I'll just say is null, and then over here I'll say sum. Still there are 2 missing values. So one thing which I will do over here is I'll just say in place equals to 2. In place equals to true. Now let's just see. Now there are all the rows which are missing. Let me fix this. So here what I'll do is I'll just, first of all I just need to put this in a bracket, and then let me just remove this. This is not required. And over here, whenever you're using mode, you just need to slice that and pick the first element only. Okay, now let's just run this, and this is giving the error. So what I'll do, I'll reset the data, come back over here, and let's run this, and here we go. Now we have 0 missing values for this particular variable. Let's have a look at the next column that we have is occupation type. I'm taking it one by one so that first I'm targeting the categorical variables. Okay, so here let's just say occupation type. If you see here, you have 31% of missing values into it. Now there are 2 ways. First of all, let's just check what all are the values that we have in this particular column. Okay, let's just try to figure that out. Okay, so how can you figure that out? So same thing we're gonna do over here is, let's just say group by, and inside the bracket, instead of count family members, I will just put occupation type, and this will just give us the size for each of the item. Okay, so if you see over here we have accountants, cleaning staff, etc., all these things we have over here, right? So like you can see, which is the, let me try to sort this, sort values. All right, now here we go. So laborers are laborers is the category which has maximum number of records. Now there are 2 ways. There are 2 ways to fill the missing value in this particular column. Either you can use laborer. This is the value which has been used most often. Either you can use this value to fill missings into this particular column, or you can use just unknown or not available, etc., into that. So if you are using not available, like you can see that it has 31% of missings, right? So there are 2 things which might happen. If you fill all this missing using NA, then the category, when you do the analysis, most of the categories, this category will be something where you will get most of the population, which will not make any sense, and you won't be able to conclude something. And if I feel that using laborer, then again we will get this particular category which has most of the population into it. Okay, so in this case, in my present scenario, I decide to go with filling the missings with laborers, right? So here I will just try to show you. Let's just see, the mode will be the same thing. Group by is not required, sorry. All right, so this one is also not required. So what you see as the mode is laborers. Okay, so that's the, and now if you pick the 0th element, this is what you get. This is why we were using this slicing over there. All right, so now if you see, this is something which has been used most often. So let's just try to use the same thing to fill the missing values in this particular column. Now what I'll do is I'll just copy paste this same thing over here, right? And I'll just change the variable name. Okay, I was just trying to zoom it so that it will be visible to you, but that's okay. Now the next thing, over here and over here, we are done. Now let's just try to run this. It is done. Now let's just try to see what is the status as of now. Does it have anything missing? Is null dot sum, and let's just see, we have 0 missing values into it, no missing into it. Okay, so we are done with this as well. We are done with replacing occupation type, and we are done with replacing the family count. All right, here also we are done with replacing this count family members. Next thing which we are going to do is, let's see what is the next thing that we should target. Okay, so amount good price, that's something it's a numeric variable, we will see that. Name type suit, let's try to figure that this variable out. I'll just try to copy this from here, and I will just go back and try to, so you're gonna bear with me, right? So because I'm trying to make this as an absolute beginner, and like you can see here, I'm exploring the things, making mistake and correcting the things. This is how we learn. That's why it is going slow, and you please be with this, don't get bored, right? All right, so here let's just start app score, and inside that I'm just going to see the missing value status, which is null, and at the end I'm going to see size of this. Let's just see what happens. Oh, it's a disaster, man. Size is not something which is gonna work over here. How can you do this mistake? Okay, so we have these many missing values into it. Okay, how we gonna replace this? Again, we will try to find the mode of this particular thing. Okay, so let me just say mode, and let's see what is it that we get. We are getting unaccompanied. Unaccompanied is the category where most of the peoples are falling. Okay, let me show you what all are other categories that we have into it. Group by, and inside that I'm just going to say size, and over here let me just try to I mean, this is pretty much clear over here. If you want, you can sort this as well, right? So unaccompanied are something where most of the people are available. Okay, now we can use the same one to fill the missing values. Let's just try to do the same. Okay, I'll just do undo, and then this equals to this dot fill NA, and inside that I'm going to again use this mode, and after that here I'll just pick the 0th element. Okay, and let me just copy this. Okay, now let's just see is null. At the end, let's just try to sum. Okay, so there are 0 element available with missing values. Okay, now this variable is also done. After this, what is it that we should see? Next one we gonna look at is, let's just come back over here. Let's see the amount annuity, right? Amount annuity is something which we will be looking at. Let's just see this. Amount annuity, let's come back over here. and let's just try to find the app score call removed. Inside that, I'm just going to put this. And can we check the type of this particular thing like this? It's a series. All right, D type. Let me just try D type. D type. Is that going to work? This numpy D type float 64 object is not callable. That's okay, but ultimately we got to know that it's a float variable. Okay, so that means it would have the decimal values, which means apparently it's a numeric value, right? So how can we analyze what sort of value that we should use to impute this? Okay, so let's try to call describe on this describe function, and let's see the information. What is it that we get over here? This will give us statistics, descriptive statistics of it. Describe it auto completed many things, and here we go. So like you can see, it has minimum value 1615, maximum value 258,000, right? Mean is 27,000, and the median, this is median. So median is 24,903. So if you see, median and mean are quite close, right? Though it's not exactly same, but it's quite close. So it seems like data is not highly imbalanced, right? So we can try to use mean value to fill the missings, right? So we can use the mean value. Let's just try to do this. Okay, I'll fill the missing value in amount annuity using mean. So let's just say this dot fill in. Oops, please bear with me. Let me just remove this, and here I will say dot fill NA, and inside that I'm going to do this dot mean. And what do you think? Is this going to work? Looks like is null dot sum, and let's just hit run. Ooh, it just worked, right? It is gone. Bravo, it's like champion thing, isn't it? Now we are done with removing the missing values in amount annuity as well, right? Now after that, what is the next thing that we have to look into? So we are done with amount annuity, we are done with this, we are done with this. Next thing which we have is, def 60 count. These variables we want, most likely we will not be using in our analysis. If you wish to use this, then you can either ignore this, because you see the missing values are too low, not much, right? So you can either ignore that, or if you want, you can just fill that. I will not be using these variables in my analysis, because this is, let me show you the definition of this particular column. Okay, let me take you to the description part, and over here I will just find the column description. So here it is simply saying how many observations of client social surrounding defaulted on 60 days. So this will basically give you the idea whether the area client is coming from, it's that negative or positive kind of area. So here we will see if this is required at the analysis part. We will come back and replace this. As of now, I am not going to replace missing values or treat the missing values in this all columns. Okay, name suit type we have already done, right? Name suit type, it's something which we already did, right? Name suit type is done. Then comes this variable. Okay, so what is this variable? Let's just try to understand this particular variable. Amount request credit bureau quarter. Let's just see what comes over here. So it says amount request credit bureau quarter. This is number of inquiries to credit bureau about the client 3 months before application. Okay, so what happens is, whenever you are applying for any credit product, be it loan, mortgages or credit card, etc., the companies check your scores, right, in the bureau. In India it is CIBIL, somewhere it depends on the country to country. In India it is mostly used, what mostly used is CIBIL. Okay, so that is changed, and this column is showing that particular information only, right? So here it simply says that how many times the CIBIL score has been changed for checked for a particular customer, okay, for a particular customer whom we are going to study or whatever it is. Okay, that's what it is saying, nothing else. So here if you see, it is hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly and quarterly, right? So this is how records has been captured over here. Okay, so it will simply tell you in 1 year how many times his CIBIL score has been checked, in a week how many times it has been checked. So it starts from the granular level, so it is checking, it is giving you the information for hour basis also, right? So whatever numbers you get over here, that will be part of this, that will be part of this, that will be part of this also, that will be part of quarter also, or that will be part of year also, right? So let's try to see the absolute number, how many records that we are getting. You will see, like you can see, the numbers are absolutely constant, missing numbers are absolutely constant. That means whatever missing values are available, that is in hourly basis, and apparently that is coming in all the other frequencies. So anyway, we will just try to see how we can fix this. So let's just check out whether what is the data type of this particular column. Okay, let me just pick this one. All right, I will just come back over here, and here I'll just say app score and just write this, and over here I'll just try to check D type. So here again, this is also a float data type. All right, so though it is giving error, but ultimately it is solving our problem, so don't worry about it. So okay, so I don't need to use those parentheses, and after that I'm getting exact data type. Okay, so this is done. Now let's just try to, so because this is the numeric value or continuous variable, so here finding mode will not make much sense, right? So let's just describe it. Let's just see how does it looks like. I'm just trying to find again the spelling error, because you know why this is happening. I use the tab key also, and at the same time I type it manually as well. So if you see over here what is happening, mean is 0.006 and the median is absolutely 0. Okay, so median is absolutely 0. Let's just see what sort of values that we have. Look, this is a score, so it cannot be in decimals, right? It should not ideally be in decimals. Okay, let me just try to see the values, how the values are looking like. Okay, it is 0.0. Do you think that it will make sense to have a look at unique values? What are the unique values that we have? All right, so if you see, the unique values which we have are whole numbers. So if you use mean over here, that will not make sense. So ideally we should go with mode, which is 0, right? So we can just impute the missing values into it with 0. So because here I showed you there are many this kind of variables available over here, right? So we will try to impute the missing value in all of these variables in one go. For that, what is it that we first need is we require the list of all these variables. So how can we get the list of all these variables? First, let's just try to create the list of all these variables. So here I would say amount rec call equals to blank for call in app score call removed dot columns. So here I'm taking the list of all the columns available in this table, and I will say if call dot starts with, and inside that I will put this standard value. Okay, because only last part is changing to hour, week or something like that. Okay, start with this, then I want it to append amount rec call dot append, and inside that I will put call, and we will just see how does it looks like. Amount, let's just see, here we go. Now we got all these columns. Once we got all these columns, next thing which we need to do is impute the missing values into it. How can we do that? We decided to impute the missing value into it using median. Okay, so let's just start the same way. Here we're gonna say for call in this, all right. And then next thing which we're gonna do is I'll just come back over here and I'll copy paste the string from here. I'll come down right over here and I'll put this instead of this column name. What I will do is I'll just put call, so that it will use a particular column whichever comes in the loop. And over here also, and instead of mean I'm going to say median. All right, now let's just run this. It is done. Now let's just try to find the missing values for all these columns. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just say app, let me just see if this works. Okay, call and is null dot sum, 0 missing values. We don't have any missing values in all these things. Okay, let me just see if this, if I say it labels, no, that's not required over here. Okay, anyway, this is just showing you that there are 0 missing values, so it's just fine. We can live with this. Or if you want, what I can do is for your level of satisfaction, I'm just going to do this dot sort values, and let's just go down. Here we go. Where is that amount columns? Here those are. Here are those columns. Like you can see, all of the values are replaced. So like you saw how we can find these columns with similar name, make a list of that, and then do the replacement into that. So I think we are done with replacing the values in all the required columns. Like we replace the missing values in this column, and in this column we are going to live with this one. This we are going to live with these columns as missing, having missing values. We will see how to take this particular column moving forward while we are doing the analysis. So this is it in this one, and next we will start with looking at the values, how the values are looking like, where we need to make some changes in the values, negative, positive, and all those things. Thank you very much. See you in the next one.